Excellence, great to connect again online. In our last video, we did some amazing work with patterns using our knowledge of shapes and lines. In this video, we'll work on adding our knowledge of color theory to those patterns. But first, let's go over the materials. First, you'll need your patterns that you made from the last video. If you haven't made your patterns, just click on the video titled Making Patterns and you could go ahead and create your own. I used an envelope for mine. There goes my cat. Next, you'll need some crayons, glue or tape, scissors, and a small piece of paper. Preferably a blank piece, but if you only have lined paper, that's okay, and it doesn't matter the color of the paper. Now that we've reviewed our materials, we're ready to talk about color theory. Remember, color theory explains how colors relate to each other, how the colors get along, and how they work best together in a painting, drawing, or any type of art, really. So I want us to first focus on warm colors and cool colors. Remember, warm colors are colors that are bold and bright. Those are colors that make us feel warm and a lot of energy. Think of yellow, orange, and red when you're thinking of warm colors. Take a moment to think about some objects, things, or items that might be a warm color. Awesome, I know you have some great ideas about that. Now let's think about cool colors. Cool colors are colors that calm and soothe. Usually they're very relaxing colors like purple, green, and blue. Take a moment to think about some objects, items, or things that are cool colors. Nice. I know you thought of some great things. Now we're ready to start our...
Great. Now that we've remembered our warm and cool colors, we could use them to learn about emphasis. Emphasis is a tricky word. Try repeating it to yourself a few times. Again, the word is emphasis. Awesome job. Emphasis in art is the main idea of your artwork, what grabs your attention. So if I look at this piece by Delita Martin, I can tell that the emphasis of this piece is the face mask by the colors she's chosen. She used colors to draw our eyes to the mask, even though there's a lot of other things happening in the work.
We're going to use cool colors for our entire background, like this. Cool colors usually aren't overpowering, and they tend to drift to the back of art. That means we often notice cool colors last. Cool colors are great to use when you're coloring the background, and when you don't want a particular part of your art to be the emphasis. In this case, our patterns won't be the emphasis, so we will color them with cool colors. When you're ready, go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm basically done with my pattern. Notice how it's gotten smaller and smaller. It used to be a big envelope and now it's only one side. It's okay if you decide to make your project a little smaller, that's quite all right. If not, just be prepared to take some time. The next thing we're going to work on is our portrait. Now the portrait is going to be what we cut out and glue over our pattern. So first we have to draw our portrait, and after we draw it, we are going to take some of our warm colors like this orange and reds and yellows, and we are going to color in our portrait with oranges, reds, and yellows. Remember, we want our portrait to pop out from our cool color background. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm done with my portrait. I'm pretty happy with it. A few tips for coloring. Remember, when we color, we always color in the same direction in a section. So you either color from side to side or up and down, but you never want to scribble on something because then it becomes a distraction. Also, with warm colors, they're really great at blending. So you could layer your warm colors. Here I took a pink and I put it on top of a red. Here I took the orange and I put it on top of the red because they're a part of the same color family. They're really great at blending. And lastly, play with values. You could go darker in some areas and lighter in others. All right, so play with your color value. Now we're ready to start cutting. Remember, ask permission first before you use your scissors. And if you're feeling a little uncomfortable with cutting, it's okay to ask a grown-up for help for this part. So go ahead and find your grown-up, press pause on the video, and say, can you help me please? I've cut out my portrait and I'm ready to glue her down. Now before I glue, I need to plan where I'm going to put it. So I don't want her floating off into the middle of nowhere. I actually want her kind of grounded. So I'm going to glue her at the very bottom. It could be in the corner, it could be in the middle, it could be in the other corner. That's up to you. But you want to make sure she's not floating into outer space. So I'll choose right here as a great place. So now that I've planned where I want to glue her, I'm ready to glue. The first thing I do is flip her over, take some glue. I've glued all around the edges. I'm ready to flip her over. I find the bottom of the paper and I press down. I'm gonna hang this up so we can see the final project. Our final piece is finished and it turned out pretty great. There's lots of textures, some areas where I could have improved. One, I could have done a careful job coloring. So I want you to try to do a more careful job coloring. And then two, I could have glued it down a little more. But I'm really excited to see what you all create. Make sure that you test. All right, ladies, it was great to connect again online to talk about emphasis. I know those portraits are popping out from those pattern backgrounds as you added emphasis using your knowledge of color theory. I can't wait for our next project and talk to you online soon. Bye.